This is Lizzie from Let Zoe Spoil You.
And Sagira from Sagira Salutes You. And together, we are Newbie versus Weeaboo. Sagira, Newbie.
Lizzie, a Weeaboo.
It's Newbie versus Weeaboo.
Hello! Blimey, that took a time. Okay, hi, we're back.
New episode! Yay!
New episode, new anime.
Okay, Miss Sagira, what do you think of today's anime?
I didn't actually write a synopsis. All I'm going to say is, you shall be judged.
Yeah, pretty much.
What more can I say?
Be judge. Yay!
Yay.
It's about being judged by a judge in a court.
Because it's called what?
Judge. It's about judging.
It's called Judge, Magistrate of Darkness.
Okay, Magistrate of Darkness. Yeah, there's a subtitle.
If you just,
we always just called it Judge.
If I tried typing in Judge earlier to find pictures and stuff, and then Judge Dredd came up, so you have to be specific.
Just type in Judge Anime. There might be lots of videos about people judging anime. But
oh, FYI, if...
we are doing.
Yes. If Lizzie sounds a bit tinny or weird, it's because we are doing this via phone today. We're being very technical. See how that goes. So, because I'm sick. Let's just put it that way. I am sick.
And it's Storm Sierra. How do you pronounce the name of the storm that's raging outside?
I've just been calling it Cedric, because I like that better.
Okay. Well, Cedric Sierra is raging, and we've got a red wind warning. So there's no way either of us are leaving our houses, because I don't want to be blown away by a storm or hit by a flying dustbin.
Exactly. We don't want any Dorothy tornadoes, not in Kansas anymore, situations happening. Nope. Okay, back to the anime. Judge, Magistrate of Darkness. I liked it. Question mark.
Question mark. Okay, so when I first watched it, I loved it because it's exactly the kind of thing I love. I love anything about judging people, and I love it when supernatural things judge like living, and they use a mixture of like folklore and traditional beliefs and weird like stuff like that to be like haha, and it's all that horror as a way of showing social commentary, and I love all that stuff. Unfortunately, it hasn't dated well because there are shows and things that do it better. I couldn't help keep comparing it to Joku Shoujo, which is Hellgirl, which is one of my favourite horror animes, and I'm like, oh no, It's not as good as I remember. I remember going, oh, yeah. And now I'm a bit like, oh, it's a good idea. Oh, and I can imagine it was good at the time. But there's better ones out there now.
Such as?
Joku Shoujo.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Well, yeah, there's also, the one about sending the letters. I can't remember the names of them off the top of my head. But there's lots of ones
you
where...
call yourself a weeaboo.
Oh, sorry. I mean, even Hakushu is about things like that, but that's a shonen anime. But there's lots of things where ghosts and spirits, Boogie Pop Phantom,
Boogie Pop Phantom?
Tagami Bachi. That's the one with the letters. There's lots of ones that do it.
Sounds interesting. We need to watch some of those then.
Oh, Joku Shoujo is one of my all-time favourite animes. So much so I got it tattooed on my back.
You've got a lot of things tattooed on your body.
Yes, but it has to be a really good anime and a really favourite of mine to get into the tattoo back piece.
To get to the eternal skin grafting.
Yeah.
Right, yep.
Exactly.
Fair enough. When it first opens, have we seen this before? It was very bleached, I found. I don't know if it's because I was watching it off of my tablet, but the water was very luminescent. Like it was a light.
Yes, it's very, very white water, but it's because it's in a very hot country, so the piercing sun would have reflected off the water. It was a style choice around about that time. You'll notice that water is not blue, it's always bright white. I don't know why. It was just a style choice for it.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was like symbolic because this is heaven and hell type stuff, or if it was just... That's
to show
pretty.
How hot the place was where they were.
What's wrong with a few heat lines? Or like, you know, like when they do the shaky... wavy pictures to show heat waves.
Because they don't do that in anime much, I don't think. They just do water effects.
And very well. I love water effects in anime. So we're introduced to the character Omar, who isn't what he seems, and he
Yes, he's our mild-mannered business accounting dude with big hair.
He just talks about himself so much. It was like a setup for the character, but instead of like a side character going, oh, isn't he so quiet? It's himself going, what was it he said? I'm an easygoing guy, and I'm a tough guy. I'm very sensitive to love vibrations. Like, he's very much about himself.
He likes his own exposition, really.
Yeah.
It's like, you must never guess that I am going to be the judge by me saying everything that puts you off the trail.
Exactly. It's like, if I say it, everyone will believe it. You know, like, I will believe it. I'm this mild-mannered person who is very sensitive to love vibrations.
Yeah, that's just random.
That was funny.
It's like, that's a very cheesy line, dude. I'd love to know that was in the sub.
Well, that's it. I would like to see the sub, because I put a note here of darling, where we mentioned in other podcasts where things like darling, sweetheart, all those kind of terms aren't really used in Japan.
No.
So it'd be interesting to know what was actually being said, because in that beginning bit, there's quite a lot of those terms being used. This is, I think, you can correct me if I'm wrong, this is the first time that we see in an anime, or that we have seen in the anime, actual motion of sex. There's always a sense that sex has happened. There's always like the after thing of sex, but the actual motion of sex we have not seen yet. So that was quite interesting for me.
Oh, there we go, yes. I haven't been showing you any of the sex ones yet because I was building you up to it. And this one is like, yeah, there's a sex scene in it. I always worry that there's a parrot in the room. I'm like, why are you letting the bird watch you have sex, people?
Yeah, I'm put off when the cat comes in. So to have a parrot just sat there watching you, it's no.
Yeah.
No.
I just assume it's small Japanese apartments. There aren't anywhere else to go. So unless they lock the bird in the bathroom every time they want to do it, there's going to be a bird there.
It's true. A demon bird. The next scene after that, I have their names written down. I was prepared. I wrote their names. Murakami, is that the businessman
Yes.
at the very start? His dad,
Yes.
Karamata.
Yeah. But I kept calling him, Kuramata. It's Bug Eyes.
Yes.
Moral of
yes.
the story is, if your eyes are bigger than your face, you're the villain.
Well, that's
no one
it.
looks like that and is a nice guy.
That's
like,
it.
I'd forgotten about him. So when he appeared, I was like, whoa, Bug Eyes.
Yeah.
Jesus, dude, you're up to no good.
My note here is the eyes, WTF. Because obviously it's like, well, he stands out a mile. He's got a big part in this, hasn't he? So, yeah, it's very obvious.
Oh, yeah, very obvious villain. With the, really high forehead, the massive eyes that didn't fit on his face. It's just like, that was an interesting choice of character design. Weird, man.
Well, that's it. I was trying to think.
But,
I was trying to think of other villains that we've seen that have eyes like that, and I can't think of any. Like, that was like extreme bug eyes as opposed to slightly odd.
Yeah, no, that was some extreme eyeing, even by anime standards.
We then are in the car with Murakami, and he's driving along, and then birds start attacking his car.
Yes.
Why did he jump out? Would you jump out if that was happening to you? No, you'd stay in the freaking car.
True, actually. Because birds can't really do much against a car. But
I mean, I know these are demon birds, but still, if they start cracking into the car, I understand, because you've got more chance of running away than being sat in a tin can. But from what I could see,
Alfred Hitchcock did make them pretty scary in the birds, so they could have been more. I just assumed that the car was hurtling towards a cliff, so he jumped out so he didn't fall off a cliff, and then the birds just chased him a bit more.
Oh, I didn't see that. Maybe it was, maybe. I mean, that would give an excuse why to get out of the car.
Yeah, he'd lost control because he couldn't see where the road was, because birds in the windscreen. So he jumped out, and then birds in his face. Birds to the face!
So then he is taken to hell, correct? Is that where his judgment is?
Well, no, he's kind of just judged on the spirit plane.
Oh, the spirit plane, okay. So he's on the spirit plane being judged, and then they got out the book, the dead book, and I really liked...
Book made of skin.
Yes, book made of skin, and I really loved the effect of it beating, because all they had was his hand moving, and I thought that was a really good effect to show...
Yeah.
Beating.
That it had a pulsing heart. Yeah, that was good. I like that scene. I like the judgment and the supernatural stuff. It's also the only scene that I've watched the subs for as a comparison. And in the subtitles, because in the dub, it's like you'll have death by shrouding. And I'm like, okay, so he's been wrapped in a death shroud, which is what they wrap bodies in Japan and stuff, and that's what's suffocating you. It kind of makes sense. But actually, in the sub, it's death by suffocation, and he's suffocated by a shroud.
Surely it was the fall and the drowning that killed him, not the shroud. The shroud helped, but he fell in the water and drowned, so...
It was death by suffocation. When you drown, you suffocate.
Yes, but it was...
Which is, you only know that if you've watched the sub version. It was meant to be that the shroud wraps him up, starts suffocating him, and because he's all like, oh, I'm dying, I'm panicking, then he falls off a cliff. They do weird little bit. It's the weird little changes I don't get. I haven't watched the whole thing subbed. I just watched that scene because I like that scene, just because I wanted to know if some of it sounded the same. It's like it was death by suffocation. And also, with the Book of Flesh, in the subtitled version, it goes, this book is made of flesh, the flesh of the deceased, and that's why it can speak to other deceased. Well, they didn't make that clear in the dub version. It was just like, it's the book, and it is made of dead people. It's
exactly.
Like, you kind of missed the whole line about the book being made out of the flesh of the deceased and therefore talks to other dead souls.
Exactly.
Which is why when he's in the apartment, he puts his hand on the book, and the book tells him how the other dude died because the dead soul came and talked to him and had a case for him. Makes more sense in the subversion.
Has a case for him.
Yeah. I died. I have a case for you. I mean, it ain't no suits, but, you know, still.
Imagine if that was in Suits, just like, the Book of the Dead's here. What's he got for us?
Yeah. That's a really harsh judge. He's a judge of darkness. He's got to be really careful in his court because, you know, things are going to get weird.
It's going to get paranormal.
Boston legal, but this time it's like, you know, Spirit Plane legal.
Then we move on to... I'm just going to call him Bug Eyes from now on. I can't keep going back to his name.
Yeah.
So Bug Eyes, he meets an attorney who's a bit like a priest.
Yes.
And he says, I have to help you because I know all about this stuff. It costs a lot of money because, like, lol. And
yeah, basically, I'm a dick, and if I'm going to represent dicks in court, I might as well take all their money, because it's obviously my destiny to be the person that defends the dick, so might as well make money.
And then, it's never explained, but the juice box, he has an obsession with a juice box. It's like it's a cigarette.
Oh, God, yes! I was like, what is this dude? That's why a jukebox? It's like, I kept noticing that. It's like, why do you keep having that? The first time I did it, I'm like, is he having a juice carton?
Yeah.
And then he did it later, and I was like, why are you drinking juice cartons? Oh, I'm so powerful. I can talk to spirits, and I can go to the court of the dead, and blah-de-blah. But I have to take a juice carton to my trial. I'm like, why are you taking a juice carton?
Now, I wrote this observation hoping you could explain it, but clearly it's gone over your head as much as mine.
Yes. I was just like, I mean, obviously they didn't want him smoking, because smoking inhibits some of your powers, I suppose. But they wanted to show him doing something. Is this like, couldn't they just show him chewing gum? I don't know. There could have been so many things rather than going, I really like cartons of juice. I mean, I kept trying to read it to work out if it was really random product placement, because it was properly written out in kanji, so it's a brand of something. And I'm like, is it just like weird drawn-in product placement? Because that's the only reason I could imagine them concentrating on a juice box. I've never seen juice boxes so much in anime. It was just like...
It was bizarre.
I watch a lot.
If he had done it once, then fair enough. But he did it twice.
He was a bit thirsty. Yeah, but in a way that they really, really kind of focused on it. And he's like, it's really in your face in the camera. And I'm like, yeah, there's some weird product placement going on in this juice box.
Yeah, it's like, is this a power move? Or is he just very thirsty? Or is he thirsty because of something? Yeah, there was...
And the juice box. In all other animes, they have those little canned coffees and canned soft drinks. So they're always getting the little can ones. They're always drinking... No one goes around getting the juice boxes from the vending machines. If I don't even know the vending machines have the juice boxes.
This is why I thought
so
it
he
might
went out
have
of his
been...
way to buy juice boxes so that he could drink juice boxes when any normal Japanese person would get a can from the vending machines.
This is why I thought maybe it was in replacement of a cigarette because of the straw. The symbolising of putting a long thing in your mouth.
Maybe he used to be a smoker and now he has juice boxes so he can stick a straw in his mouth.
Maybe. Is there an anime? No, is there a manga? Sorry. Is there a manga? Because if there is, maybe that could explain it.
Yeah, because most animes are made to advertise the manga. So there would have been a manga for this out there.
Cool. So maybe we need to have a look into that and see if that explains the juice box obsession.
The juice box, yeah, it was weird.
Very weird. I found it really interesting how the attorney was a priest dressed in white. He looked like the good guy. And then you got the judge who's shrouded in darkness and almost evil things. Like, you know, when he summons the dead, they're like zombie-esque and stuff. And yet the judge is the good guy and the attorney's the bad guy. So it's like they've flipped.
Yes, I mean, that's to do with the fact that Japan's not a Christian country.
Okay.
So, because the priest himself said, gives you the right to judge people, only God has the right to judge people. But obviously in Japan, God and Christianity and stuff, it's not the dominating religion. It would be Buddhism, spiritualism, Confucianism, Shintoism, in which they believe in their own deities and their own spirits. Right. So it's kind of a play on that. Because they meet outside the church and stuff, which is why he's a priest-type character. And he's like, well, every human has the right to an attorney. And the Japanese judges are like, if you're going to be in our country being a dick, then we're going to judge you. So there was a little bit of that dig at America as well, with the whole like, I'm going to go work for an American company. Oh, American company's great. Oh, I died and I was suffocated by the shroud that actually turned out to be American flag. So actually it's American consumerism and commercialism that suffocated me.
Symbolism.
Symbolism.
What I really liked in that scene as well, where they're having that fight, was it afterwards where the snow was falling, and it wasn't moving, was it? It was just kind of like in the air, and it looked like little light. Again, it looked like little lights all over the place, and I just thought that was really pretty. So snow and water, check for anime.
Yeah, they do weather very well.
Very well.
A lot more attention to detail in just of what's going on. Wait till you see when it's raining. Ooh.
Well, they had a bit of rain in this one.
I'll have to find you a series that has some good rain in it.
They went for pretty much all the weathers in this one. They had heat, they had rain, they had snow.
Yes, true, actually.
Wind. I can't remember. But yeah, all the elements going on in this one. So after they have their epic battle, the judge goes, no, I'm taking you anyway. And he marks him. Well, the parrot marks him. And so
Which is more like a familiar. The parrot's a familiar. Right. Kind of his spirit beast, rather than an actual parrot.
Right.
They don't really ever make that certain, but it's like, well, that's what it would be.
Okay. And so they get taken to hell to have their judgment.
Yes, to go to the actual court.
Where the 10 judges, is it?
10 judges. Okay. Of names that I can't pronounce, so I'm not going to.
I don't know.
10 judges of really big names.
Yep, the 10 judges of biggest names. They're all there, and they get the dead guy to say what happened, and it confused me because I was like, he can tell them that he killed him because he was there, and then I remembered, no, because he didn't know it was him, because it was only through the book that we knew it was him.
Yes.
Bug Eyes. Because Gorilla
Bug Eyes was never there.
And for what?
Only because...
This is the problem with phone, not knowing when to talk. I have to admit, every time they say a gorilla attack, I actually imagine real gorillas every time, and then it was like, oh no, they mean the guys, gorillas,
gorilla warfare,
yeah. It took me a while to realise that. He thought he killed him, but then through the book we see it was Bug Eyes, so that's why the ghost couldn't say yes he did it, because he didn't know. And that kind of confused me at the end a little bit. So I was like, they've got him. The ghost will tell him what happened. No.
Ghost does not know. Ghost didn't realise he was set up. He thought the dude was his friend. It was the convenient mirror of truth.
Oh my gosh.
Happened to be lying around. And I was like, oh, well, I'm so glad that mirror was just left there that revealed your truth. And then like, the attorney guy is just like, oh, you should have known better than to go and look in the mirror. I'm like, did you tell him, if you see a big mirror, stay away from it? Because I don't remember that conversation in your, like, court prep. It's like, oh, by the way, when you get in the courtroom, you know that massive mirror, don't go near it, because it will tell the truth. And it was just like, oh, my goodness, prep your witness better. Because you could have saved yourself a lot of hassle.
Well, that's it. It's the fact that he turned around and was like, didn't you know about the mirror? It's like, no, of course he didn't know about the mirror. He thinks all this is fake still. Even though it's happening, he still thinks it's fake. He's still questioning everything. Why would he expect a giant truth-telling mirror to be there?
It's like, you are a really bad lawyer, dude.
Very bad.
A really bad lawyer. I think you just want the money. You don't care if they live or die.
It seemed not to, didn't he?
No, yeah, and I suppose that's more kind of poking, like, criticism at Christianity and Catholicism and stuff, and it's just like it's all about the money actually rather than doing any good.
All about the money.
And like Japanese true beliefs that are about spirituality and being a good person, not hurting each other.
Exactly. You think it's ended, and it doesn't, because it goes on to a cafe where they all sat around talking about what's happening, and then they have a little chit chat through their minds.
Yes.
And then it ends.
Basically, the whole let's judge each other, and sometimes people's true selves come out, and sometimes their true selves aren't good, and sometimes their good selves are evil, and people aren't black and white, and we'll continue judging them. And we're like, okay, we get it, guys. That's cool. But
Awesome.
I want to know, when did the girlfriend start dating the guy? And if he's been at the company for 4 years, has he just been judging people in that company? And if, like, he disappears in the middle of the night, does she ever wonder, wait a minute, or does she ever open her cupboards and kind of or open his cupboards because she's crashing at his place and go, why has this guy got a gold ring, a cape, and some lipstick in this drawer? Because,
Because he's in a secret emo band, that's why.
Well, yeah. Well, Visual K band at the time. It's the 90s, so it would just have been a Visual K band. So actually, no, it would be totally normal for a guy to have makeup and clothes. It's just little bits like that. And she's like, oh, what would my mother think if she knew I hooked up with you? He's like, oh, I love vibrations. It's like, well, you're clearly, it's not just your first hookup. You're actually dating, especially with all the darling, oh, yes, darling. And I'm just, okay. It's like, oh, no. It's like, you're dating him. Stop it with the whole, like, oh, why am I with a weirdo? I don't know. You decided that one. Thanks for that random bit of exposition.
Again, is it in the sub version? We don't know.
No, true. I just assume that company is really, really corrupt, and that's why he's judging all the people in it. Because America.
America.
Yeah.
Poor old America.
Japan doesn't think highly of them all the time.
Yeah, that's all I have to say on it, really. Just juice box.
The juice box wigged me out because I was like, I don't get the juice box. That's really stuck with me, that juice box. And I'm like, I don't get it.
No.
And also the fact that Jijoku Shoujo exists, and Jijoku Shoujo is just so good. So Judge is like, oh, you're an interesting idea, but I'm glad other companies have kind of taken the idea of the supernatural getting revenge for the living and the dead and being judged in the spirit lands and using classic mythology to kind of deal with that. So I think it was a good idea, and it's led to other great titles, but in itself, when you rewatch it, you're like, it's all right. It's quite fun. It's got some nice bits, but it's no groundbreaking series.
It's no Vampire Princess Miyu.
The subtitled version, even the bit of it I saw was better than the dub. Some of the dubs, I'm like, some of you are okay. And then some of them I'm like, you sound awful. So,
you always will. You're a purist.
Yeah, I know. I can't help it. There's some dubs I like. I'm sure we'll find one.
So what should we give it out of 5?
I'm going to give it 3 Death Shrouds out of 5 because it's still one that, like, I've got great nostalgia for it, and it's led to some great other genres out of anime. It does have some nice animation. It's just it hasn't held up as well for me as other titles have. There's a bit too much random exposition.
I'm going to give it 3 juice boxes.
Oh, yeah, there we go. 3 juice cartons.
Oh, yeah. Because, like I said, I enjoyed
Random.
it. Random. I enjoyed it visually. I enjoyed the artwork of it, and the juice boxes, the mystery of the juice box.
You just feel that there's so much more that they're not telling you about this entire world and the process and the things and the crimes and everything. And in all honesty, of all the crimes, he's embezzled some money and he got it's like there are far worse criminals out there, and you've got all this amazing supernatural power, and you're going after the dude that paid off some gorillas. And okay, yeah, it's an awful thing, but it was just like, oh, it's the worst. They made such a big deal about him being the worst of the worst. And it's like, as far as I could tell, he did one bad thing.
Who knows? Maybe he's done lots of bad things. We just don't know. Maybe that was just the straw that broke the camel's back.
There we go.
Maybe.
Or broke the jukebox.
the straw that broke the jukebox.
There we go.
Okay. So, this week, I'm just going to say social media, everywhere.
Yeah, there we go. And just type in Let Zoe Spoil You and see what turns up.
Or Song of the Night book.
Or Song of the Night book, yeah.
By Zoe Burgess. And for me, here's mine. because it's random and I don't like consistency, apparently. Apparently I like random. I like to keep people guessing with social media.
Which one you could be.
Yeah, for no reason other than that. Time to sign off.
Yep, from a weeaboo, it's Johnny.
And from a newbie, it's bye.